Uh, Welcome back, student. It's good afternoon, and thank you for coming to today's lecture. This is a lecture on ethics in data science, or you can call it ethics in data science. And without AI, means without data, the AI has no meaning in modern days. So you can call it ethics in data science, where the data is used to make the data-driven technologies, and AI is one of the application of data science. So if we see the prediction from different consultancy, they are saying that we are already with a deluge of the data. And by 2025, whatever data we have in 2019 or 2020, by 2025, it will be 60% more. So the whatever menace or whatever difficulty we are having with the growth of data is going to continue further. And there is a need of data, and data science is actually impacting everyone. You call it the environmental disaster, financial crisis, handling the crime and terrorism. So everywhere the data science is impacting a positive way as well as sometimes it's negative way. And with the help of huge amount of data, the modern machine learning methods are actually helping doctors identify the different kind of diseases, including the breast cancer, and diagnostic error, which has been reduced by 85%. Means, I mean to say error means like if someone has a cancer earlier, if they were detecting 15 people out of, let's say, 100 people, and with the use of data and ML, they are able to detect 85% more earlier the people were going away, right? So that is where the data is helping to get a better thing. It is also reducing earlier if there is a cyber attack, it used to take over 100 days to find there was a cyber attack, but with the data, big data use, we are able to detect it within few hours and sometime in few minutes. So it has a big impact, and everywhere we will see that we will have a technology which is a data driven, and it is helping us, the society, advance, making our life easy. So we are no longer living in a world of science fiction, which we used to see 20, 30 years ago movies. We are actually living it. So the science, the world of science, we are now in a world of science non-fiction. And data is driving the businesses, like big data is actually a fuel. Nowadays, it is called that the country which has a control on the data, that country is going to be the next superpower. So who has the control of their own country data, that is going to lead the future economy. So big data is a fuel. There is automation happening everywhere, in cars and in health monitoring, in self-driving cars, and many places. The businesses are becoming both non-data driven and data driven. So hybrid business processes are coming up. Like most companies now using a chatbots. Earlier they used to have the voice over IP, where the reception, someone is going to pick up the call and then answer the queries. But nowadays chatbots are able to handle most of the queries which people have, and it's also helping the company to get better sales and other things. So companies are now closing the gap in their people, the employee they have. They were not accustomed to the data-driven technology, so they are training them for this data-driven business model. The impact is everywhere. One of the reasons the companies are moving towards also to data-driven improvement is reduce the labor cost. So with the old way of working, the amount of people required is more. So with the new way of data-driven technology, the amount required people are less. Now data is the big power. So Spider-Man, or you can call it the creator of the Spider-Man, Stanley has said that with great power comes the great responsibility. Sooner or later, we all are going to work in an industry where the industry is driven by the data science, and we will be the one who is going to create a different kind of technology, which is based on the data. So we have the power to bring changes in the society. So it comes also with the responsibility that we should be creating something which will have a limited disadvantage or limited bad effect on the society. It brings more good effect. And if we know that there can be a bad effect, we can take the point into a consideration or try to avoid those bad effects as much as we can. Now, in this present time, we have more power. The things are actually changing very fast. We are bringing the more innovation in the society, and the world wants to be prosperous, and they want for everyone. So the question is right that can we, in the name of prosperity or in the name of growth, can we just keep on using the data whatever way we want, or do we want to have a prosperity with uh, our priority defined that what kind of future we want? Now AI with data can introduce the possibility that machine can think themselves. But if machine can think themselves, it can bring, it comes with the both risk and reward, and it will have a longer impact in the society in the coming future. Now, recently, the 3 years ago, the Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, their language team, which is working on the AI research, which is a data driven. So they were trying to understand that how can they create a better engine which can understand people's language. So they were in the AI technology, they were using some kind of technology by which the like we nowadays do not follow in the text media the language with the dictionary words. We don't really write proper spelling. Most of us write shortcuts like LOL kind of thing, uh, got to go, GTG kind of thing. So they were making this language engine which can learn. So what was happened that the machine started creating their own language, and now they started communicating, one machine communicating with other machine, or they call it the language agent, which is actually a digital language agent, is talking to another digital language agent in their own language. So they created their own language which human don't understand, and this can create a problem. And that's why Mark Zuckerberg completely closed that project and closed that department itself, that we don't want to do something which we can't control. In this way, there are ethical risks are there. The Zuckerberg was very kind enough to understand the problem. There are business, Deloitte had done a survey that all the top business leader, only 1/3 believe that there is ethical risk in AI, and 25% only the top leadership has taken some steps to reduce the bias and transparency on the technology they are using based on data and AI. So there are 67% people do not believe there is ethical risk, and there are 75% people have not taken, the company have not taken any step to overcome the bad effect of using a big data and AI. What had happened because of this? There is this company called Cambridge Analytica. There is a scandal came up in 2018 that this company had developed the analytics. They were getting data from Facebook. So from Facebook, they had partnered with the Facebook, and from the Facebook, whatever way people are interacting with their friends and family, this Analytica company is able to find out from big data and using AI that who is going to vote for which party. So they have their IP address, so they have the name of the people who has inclination towards which party, and they started sharing that information with political parties in all over the world, including in India and in UK. And if you know which is motivated towards which party, they also given the marketing ways that if someone is inclined to let's say political party A, and then they start and and any political party B, which is an opposing party, and if they pay money to the Analytica firm, then they can direct the news articles, etc., which can help them get the people get inclined to the political party B. So basically, they were attacked. This is actually the attack on the democracy, the very ethos. The world is now peaceful because the most of the country is running on the democratically elected government. And if this AI can affect the democracy in this way, then it can create a lot of problem. Now, in the present time, the Twitter has a capability, means people can use Twitter to actually topple the government. And we have seen similarly in Greece and many places in the Middle East that some government has been toppled because of the rumors went out of control because of social media. So we're not only talking about the democracy, there is also the racial discrimination is happening. So you in 2015, the Google, if you post a photo and it was automatically annotating that who are this person. So Google photo was actually labeling the people who are black as gorillas. And that is the side effect of using AI not proper way. Then Apple also came up with a scandal where they were being sexist in credit approval. So they were giving a lower credit to approval to the women, and they were giving higher credit approval to the men. So which is actually the gender discrimination. There are many things are there. Even recently, the Facebook has their own labeling agent is labeling the black men as gorilla. So this, and what Google did to handle in 2015, in 2018 is that they simply remove all the gorilla labels from their labeling. So even if you give the gorilla picture, it is not going to label it as a gorilla. So because they did not have any good solution to handle it, Facebook did the same thing. So risks are there that our own fundamental rights and then the problem are going to come without using the big data in a proper way. So EU has given a guideline. There are many countries are actually working on giving the guidelines. There is no law. The different countries do feel that the regulation is needed. So the first step is giving the guideline. So EU has given a guideline, this 7 guideline for having a trustworthy AI. So if anyone is developing any technology which is using big data and AI, then this 7 guidelines they need to follow. First is human agency and oversight. This 7 guideline you will see in the EU ethical guideline PDF document shared with you. So first is human agency. So if any big data and AI based technology has been developed, it should not be fully automated. That means there should always be a human there in the loop. If something goes wrong, human can override and human can oversee what is going on. So, and many countries have put a regulation that's on the social media company that if things going out of control because of your social media technology, then you should have your compliance team to immediately take action if the issue has been raised. The GDPR is one of the things which is EU has enforced on the company. Then the robustness and safety. Now the AI, modern AI actually rely on the data. The larger the data is there to develop the technology, the better is that particular AI technology. So bigger and bigger data and more diversity and variety of data is needed to actually get a good robustness and safe. Some of you might have seen a Tesla car, which do have autopilot mode. It is not completely, sometimes it do give problem, right? So my question will be there that do you think the fully automated things is good, or do you believe that human should be there into the picture? Any feedback on it? Student, any opinion you have on this human agency and oversight topic, that humans should be there or they should not be there? Technology should be as easy as possible. The humans should not be there. Let the technology do whatever it can do for betterment of people. Any feedback would like to say? So that is good. Some sort of oversight is necessary. Maybe in future AI, yeah, in future AI could be better. Currently, that we are developing AI too quickly. And if you go back to this Facebook problem or Google problem, do you know? I know what is the why this problem is there. So all this AI model is image-based model. Actually, is trained on there is a larger data set called ImageNet, which has 10,000 different class of images are there, and in those the gorilla pictures are also there as one of the labels. And the AI is actually a black box. Modern AI is a black box. It really a dumb item. If you call me, I am an AI person, I will say that AI modern days is a black box. Interpretability of AI is utter very necessary. So that has been trained, and the feature or the structure which this AI is learning is actually matching. It is giving more emphasis to the skin color, and the faces of primates and the faces of humans are actually same. So in fact, there are many examples are there where AI can fail. If you just put a guitar in front of a gorilla, then the AI will start telling that this is a human, even it is completely a gorilla picture. So the AI can fail. The reason is that we are developing things too fast, or maybe currently the technology is not so strong to give a better thing. I did conducted this 7 topic in my team in a journal club, and in 1.5 hours we could not proceed more than human agency oversight and robustness and safety point. Remaining 5 points we were not able to discuss it. So I was hoping that I generate more question on this particular slide. So AI should be robust and safe. It should not affect the humans. Nowadays, people are trying to make robots which can serve human. So in robot also there are 3 ethical laws are there, that no robot should harm human, or robot should not take any action which can damage humanity. So that kind of, those are 2 laws, and robot should be able to help people. It should not be able to have its own existence, that it can make decision without taking human into the consideration. So there are this domain is actually still ongoing. Discussion, debate are there. Then this privacy and data governance. Our data is private. Means if a government has the control of the data, and if they put the AI team, like in some country they are putting the AI team to actually control what coming in the country and what going out, like Google, Facebook, Twitter, all these, YouTube are banned in certain countries. The reason the country government wants to actually control how the people want to think. So it looked like everything the government has an access, and they can actually profile people who is thinking what and who has opposite view about the government, and they are we are hearing the news that they are punishing. Like if someone says something about the government leadership in that country, within a week in the social media, let's say WhatsApp kind of social media or a Facebook kind of social media, then immediately in a week, government authority will come and first give the reprimand, and then if they continue, then they put into the what they call it the few months of modification program. Then your data-driven technology should be transparent. Transparency means we do have the electronic or electrical technology which comes with certification like CE certified or ISI certified or RHOS certified, or many kind of certification is there, so that it ensures that human safety is taken into consideration, all the different kind of many different ways these electrical items will not harm people, both the chemical used to make it and also the electrical safety. So we also need a ethical guideline is given that transparency of the data driven technology which using AI should be there, like how it has been made, how it has been trained, what are the different way it can fail, and what kind of data it has been used. So that should be there. If not been there, then depending on the data, AI will behave. If AI is only used with the data from Asian country, right? Then if that AI is being used in the Europe, then that AI is going to give a problem. And if the AI is being used only with the white people, less amount of black people, then the AI will be behaving, doing racially discrimination. So that transparency should be there. Then this diversity and non-discrimination. Again, if you make it transparent, then you can ensure that your data is representing diverse people. It is also non-discriminating. Non-discrimination means it is not discriminating between gender discrimination like male, female, LGBTQ, or it should be fair among uh, uh, protecting the people's fundamental rights. All the fundamental rights should be protected, and that is the part of diversity, non-discriminating, and fair. That we should not be the AI should not give biasness. So data should not be biased towards one type of people. It should be treating all the data equally. And so this kind of guideline is given, and hope with this guideline the society will have a better and how the data driven technology can impact society and environment. It should be impacting in a better way than the wrong way. And the seventh, which is very important, accountability. So if you think from the uh, past, when the scientists created the nuclear technology, like atom bomb, scientists created a mathematics of it. And then physicists created a better model of it. And so people started blaming that, oh, you're science mathematician, you created it. Mathematician saying that, no, I'm not. It is the physicist who made it model. Physicists saying that we are just a bunch of scientists, we did it in pen and paper. We didn't do it. We didn't create the bomb. Then the scientists or the engineers who created the bomb, they created the bomb. Then they're saying that no, we didn't do it. It's the pilot who actually dropped the bomb. Now the pilot saying, no, I didn't drop it. I was been ordered to drop it. So the leadership, the government of that time should be blamed. Now government say, I didn't do it. So now this kind of I didn't do it, it is not my problem or it's his problem, that should not be there. Nowadays, autonomous cars are coming. Now, if autonomous car do a mistake, it kills a human being or animal. Who is accountable? Is it the software developer who developed it? It is a car making company, or it is the owner of the car who has bought this autonomous car? Who is going to be accountable? And also the comes like insurance claim, if it does not kill a people, it just harm some property. Then who is going to pay? Who is accountable for the insurance company will pay to who? or will charge who. So accountability should be there. Nowadays, people are taking themselves away of accountability. And that is why the Tesla, these cars, the electric car actually can do autonomous driving, but then it is not perfect. It is going to do even 1% mistake or 0.1% mistake, people will die and damages will be there. And the Tesla is saying, I am not accountable for it. So they are putting it on the people who is owning the car that we are giving you autonomous auto driving mode, but human should always be there in the back and the human is responsible. So if I am driving this Tesla car, which is autonomous, and my car do a mistake, means in autopilot mode, then it is the car owner who is actually the driver is responsible for the damages. So practically the businesses who are saying making this data-driven technologies and using the AI, they are saying that no, we are not responsible. They just want to make money. So everyone is trying to get rid of all the responsibility. They want to make money, but they don't want to be responsible for if something goes wrong. So this accountability should be taken into the consideration, very important. Any question on this topic? This slide. This will be useful for your assignment handling. Any question you can ask? Anything? No question? All clear? Later on, when you read, then you will start coming to me. No? Do you want to discuss any particular point, any confusion? Anyone? Are you able to hear me? Okay. So no question. Any point you think? Because you have to propose a solution of the essay we'll be writing. Later on, don't ask me. Blame me that no, I didn't say anything. On this 7 topic, I will be conducting a full 4 hours of a workshop in December in India. So this particular topic I can talk for full day. Okay, so no question. Then I go further. So as per the data scientists, we saw the 7 EU guidelines, right? Different country have their own guideline. Some country have still making it and some following the different standard agencies guidelines. So one of the point to be considered is the quality of the data. Because when we go, again, the data is in the picture. The modern technologies need a large amount of data because they are using AI. So, and machine learning. So they train the algorithm and the machine learning is basically finding the patterns from the data. And if data is diverse, then it is going to be less biased. Overfitting will not be there. If data is limited, then earlier the AI methods before the deep learning or modern machine learning method, before 2012, I will say, before 2012, the AI technique can even work with 10 samples. 10 samples user data, it can work, even 10 or 100 or 50. But now we need 1,000 and even 100,000 and millions of data to work to make the AI, and that also not with 100% accuracy. It is doing good job. I remember when I was doing PhD, and that time it is before the deep learning era, and my research was on object detection. And that time we were not able to do more than 101 classes. So identifying object of 101 types. Basically 100 type, one type was actually negative data. So 100 classes of data, the training used to take, we were using the old AI technique, not the deep learning. And the accuracy still we could not reach more than 45% or 60%. But 2012, the deep learning method came, and immediately the accuracy shoot to 97, 98%. And then people thought, okay, we need a larger. So then 10,000 class of data came, millions of class of data came, and now Facebook also released the people identification. So Facebook have tested that their algorithm can identify between 1 million different people with 99.7% accuracy. And that's why, because they have the data. You have seen the Facebook application like 10 years earlier how you look like, or 10 years later how you look like. And that is, they got the data by creating employing, or you can call it the social media influencer like celebrity. They started posting picture 10 years before and 10 years after, and then people also started sharing the same kind of picture. They make a challenge, and that helped them get a data, and that they use it to train their deep face algorithm, which can detect between different kind of you can create how you look like 10 years older. And I have also used it, and I look really more handsome or more younger looking. And if I create a 10 years older, I don't like that picture. Okay, so data, and then they have created something called deepfake, and means any video you can use that deepfake algorithm or machine learning model to actually recreate any video with someone else's faces, like even people, and that is by the Facebook deepfake. And you might have seen many rumors video that Trump is telling this or Mark Zuckerberg is telling this, but those were a deepfake, and deepfake videos can be very, very harmful, and it is harming society in general, because society in general are not used to this kind of problem. They consider everything coming in social media as accurate as possible. So quality of data is very important. The biasness of data should not be there. The data, if data is biased, then the result will be biased. And the AI method is only learning the patterns. Use of data, has different country have law that you cannot use data in this way or that way. Like if I want to work on human data in Tromso, there is a study going on, Tromso study. Probably some of you might have heard about it. In that, they are collecting the around 7,000 Tromso people data for last 25, 30 years, their different health data, their blood parameters, their activity data. But all those data are not really accessible outside. We in a university can do the research, but we have to go work with a very strong university regulation, and data handling is really, means we really cannot hold the data from the Tromso study server. It has to be extreme control. We can do the research on it, but then we have to follow our privacy laws. The data practically we don't know, but the data you still can find out people. Let's say you get a data of someone has height 240 centimeter, let's say 240 centimeter. And if you know that it is a Tromso data, and you know who is the tallest person in Tromso, that person is easily identifiable. So this Tromso study is not going to share that data with height. And now if I want to make a AI method, which actually can do a lifestyle based suggestion, like, and for that I will need the BMI, body mass index, right? And that height and weight is needed. The moment that height is released, that person is known. And even if there is a shortest height data is there, then we can directly go to who is the shortest person. So this we do not think like, oh, this is just a height and weight. What is going to be a problem? Then, but this data can can be used to identify the person, and that is actually attacking the privacy. So when we are handling the data of people, we should be very due diligent that people should not be identified, people should not be, their privacy should not be affected, their fundamental rights should be protected. Then comes the transparency. The algorithm should be better that they make their source code open. Then and all the inner working of the algorithm is open. Now recently the explainability or interpretability of AI methods is becoming very important. Now EU is not going to give any research grant if ethical clearance guideline is not, letter is not given. Earlier they used to ask the biological ethical clearance. Now they're asking AI ethical clearance. So when I submitted this grant submission, then I had to write that how and where I am not violating the EU ethical guideline, and if there is a violation, what kind of how it can impact. We also have to give in writing that my AI method cannot be used for creating weapons which can automatically kill people. So this kind of transparency is becoming very important, and governments are also understanding it. But there is a lot more need to be done. And the different kind of challenges are getting organized where they are asking that transparency of your algorithm, where you have to first release the code, and one has to also tell how it has been trained, what kind of data been used, and what are the different parameters used, control parameters are there. Everything has to be open. So open AI algorithms and things they are asking, but business is not going to release the data open. They are not going to reveal how they have to do it. No company is going to do it, because the moment they release it, they will be not having a patent or license. Then their opposition, their competitor will know. So, but I don't know. I have also no answer to the company's problem, because company is putting money to make it, and if they make it everything open, how they are going to monetize it. There are different ways to monetize this. Like you can see, the Android is completely open source. Linux is completely open source, but then Red Hat Linux is enterprise edition. There are CentOS, which is also on Linux, but then CentOS is also monetized. You have seen Docker. Docker is completely open source, but still with the Docker, they are making money by having an enterprise edition. So having the open source, you can get thousands of people feedback. You can find out if there is any way it is violating different kind of guideline. Security, the one of the important is that how much trustful our AI adoption is, how secure it is. So whether it is can leak the data, where people's security is into consideration. Will the data used for the data-driven technology is secure or not? Can it be cyber attackers can attack it and get the people's information? So that due diligence of and security policy of data in the system is very, very important. Auditability means someone is like this Tromso study who keeps the data of Tromso. They get audited every 3 months, 6 months by external agencies and also government, that how they are keeping the data, whether it is vulnerable to cyber attack, if any unauthorized access is there or not, how they are actually dealing the data, if they are giving the data to people, are they maintaining this 7 EU guideline, fundamental rights, privacy, non-identification of people. And then comes the responsibility. If we are creating something, then responsibility should be taken. For example, without AI cars, if a car become faulty, let's say the safety bags are there, right? If accident happen and safety bag doesn't function, then the car companies, we can sue the car company. People, damage can happen. Let's say people survive, then company is suable. But nowadays, autonomous car based on AI or any other technology based on AI, they are completely waving a hand off that no, we are not responsible. You want to use it, it is your responsibility. That should not be there. The people who are making, they should be responsible. We can have a shared responsibility, but responsibility should be there. To have a responsibility, then the law should know that how it has been made, because without knowing the intricate details of the system, you cannot punish anyone, because If a Tesla car, which is an autonomous, if the driver is driving and if it hits someone, then we simply cannot go and sue the Elon Musk, because it may be that the driver did a problem, not that the car autonomous pilot did a problem. Didn't follow, or she didn't follow the way how to use it. So responsibility can be shared responsibility, and to have a shared responsibility, we should be knowing that what details is there on which this data-driven technology has been made, so we know how to better use it. There are many foundations are there which actually working on ethical framework, AI framework, still ongoing process. One common point people have not come. There are so many points to be considered, that if you go and work in the company, then companies should have ethical framework. Most companies should have it. Not every company have it, as you have seen, that only 25% company have taken the ethical consideration into the consideration. 75 don't really bother about it. So in company should have the value and core ethical principle. You have to understand your company has a value or not. Who is accountable for ethics in the company? So company should have ethical board who is going to look after the ethical problems in the technology getting developed in their company. Who is going to be the stakeholder for the ethical framework, like employees or customer or partner or government agencies? What are the policies and the process on which the AI is getting developed? How the company is going to address if any different outcomes comes? Like you can see the Mark Zuckerberg simply closed the business the moment he come to know that the agent is learning, it's making their own language. Then they simply close it. Not everyone can do it. He did it. What are the different policies are there and the process on which the data is collected and getting treated? In university, we do have the University Institutional Review Board, but not every company has the financial means, and there are so many startups are actually using this data-driven technology. And startups are busy making the technology, and they are not going after what is ethics and what is not, and how they just want to be fast in 3 months, 6 months, and in a year they want to be a $1 billion company. So but the company needs to take care of it. When and how often the ethical framework should be audited, and then whether the country or region specific policies are taken into the consideration. Like if you are working in EU, then GDPR has to be there if we are handling the people's data. That is a law. Then the guideline of EU 7 guideline may be taken into the consideration. So that should be the thing. There are some organizations to look for where people are focusing on ethical technologies. All these links are active. You can go and have a look. European Union is also doing a great work. There's a non-profit foundation like Alan Turing Institute, the Linux Foundation. There are many organizations are there. Some are listed. There are many others are there to look for. They are actually working on making the future technology more safer and more in principle to maintaining all our safety and concern of human and humanity, and and also ensuring that prosperity and innovation is there. Open source can be a solution. There are 9 of the 10 supercomputers are running Linux. There are 8 out of 10 financial trades are actually powered by Linux, and Linux is open source. And thousands of people are actually have taken look into the code and everything. Around 1 million phones are getting sold every day, which is based on the Linux. And there are 15 million slices of codes are there, and 1.5 million are written in just last couple of years. A lot of developers are actually contributing in the Linux. So open source is one of the key, and to have the building block which can create the trust in the AI. Transparency, trust, security, predictability, and accountability. And that open source does ensure all these things. So is open source is a solution, and if it is, can businesses come with open source? Thank you.